Final ban-wise, it looks like Team Unique, they do still need their mid. Not really much Legion mid going around at all, and none of these other heroes really fit the criteria. You need something that can match up against the puck, so 178 should look to cover that basis. Maybe you're worried about the side of Unique just going tanky to just out-brawl you. I don't see someone like a Tiny being too brutal, but something like a DK could be reasonable for Team Unique, although it does run the risk of being blown up by Veil with Earth Spirit Puck. So they get rid of Arc Warden, a hero that's proven itself to just ramp up a little bit too quickly. It does come out of the lanes swinging alongside this Lifestealer. At the same time, I wonder if there is an option available to Unique that gives them a bomb, because right now Lifestealer lacks that. One of the most obvious go-to choices out of the mid would be something along the lines of Storm Spirit, but it's not very good this game, right? You've got 3 different sources of silence and lockdown from the Sinister Gaze. Every hero here has the means to catch you. Obviously, for Bloodseeker on a delay, but the other ones set it up easily. Whereas 178 right now, we mentioned that you can play the puck in the 3 or the 2 position. Definitely more flexibility there. And they literally can just pivot this based on Unique's pick. So it really comes down to them actually like knocking it out of the park with this final decision. DP, of course, did get a few buffs recently. Death Prophet, not bad against some of these heroes, but I feel like you just get punished. Any Yules builder is going to feel a little bit rough against heroes like the Earth Spirit, I think. So you can be ruined a little bit by that. And there's so many silences as well. We're in a scenario where like the DK could still work, though. It gives you the bulky boy approach, right? Like you just start setting the tempo, you try and meet them piece for piece. Also, if you have a hero like Dragon Knight in the mid lane or anything that can really sustain, it means that Bloodseeker doesn't get the advantage. Because Bloodseeker is this hero that inherently relies on the other lanes to feed him movement speed and attack speed. That's why the Earth Spirit feels good here. That's why the Puck and the Lich also feel good here. They're all these laning bully types. They just want to get up in someone's face and make sure they're kept down to like half HP at least. So get rid of the Razor. Just a dog in the leash scenario for the Legion Commander. There's not really anything you do in that lane. Like, they'd already got the Treant to make sure the Legion doesn't get countered by that in the lane. Getting rid of the Razor makes sure that there's not an easy win over the Legion Commander. You can at least stand and you can at least fight. And at the same time, you can also run away. When you look on the other side of that, if you do keep the Bloodseeker low on movement speed, the Treant can actually punish the Bloodseeker pretty well. Because if you don't have that extra movement speed, you get stuck in the grass. Like, Legion Commander is a fast hero naturally. You can run them down in this scenario. You could go for, like, a volatile matchup. Something like the... I don't think you go for Quap if you're on the side of Unique, just because you've got too many silences again. You just need something that isn't too elusive based, because it will be punished. Even with the press the attack, like, you've got the Grip for silence, you've got the Waning Rift for the silence, and also you've got the Bloodseeker with the silence, and they do go for the TA. I think they were a little bit stuck on this. Like, there's a decent amp up, there's the Protect. We mentioned this earlier on, that this could be one of the picks. The Earth Spirit can make it rough if it gets on top of you, but he has to keep you locked down. The moment you get a BKB in this game as a TA, you're completely unlocked, right? The only way they keep you in check is if Bloodseeker is on some sort of ridiculous rampant spree across the map, or if Puck gets a quick Ags timing and you just keep the TA away from the fight.
5 seconds remaining.
Right now, I like the way that Unique have made it very hard to discern a hero that's a pick target for 178. Like, you feel compelled to go on the TA early on, but the Legion will always protect, as well as the Treant. And then as you get later on, the BKB comes out. Like, there's no easy, like, yoink, that's our target. And in response to this 178, like, they need something that can maybe play on that lane, but you want someone that doesn't feel countered as well. The Viper hasn't been banned. This could easily be a Viper pick for 178. TA does get roughed up a little bit. I'm trying to think like the rotation potential that's there. That you do have the disrupt the glimpse back, and I guess it is still rough for Viper when he reaches 6. But if 178 want to play fast, Viper is perfect. Like, he'll enable the Bloodseeker lane by pressuring TA. When you come out of lanes, the one who gets that Veil, the amount of magical damage available in 178, yes, you have Dispels, but like there's only so many people you save, right? Like, you got the press attack to just debuff one, Lifesteal can deal with himself, but there's still this gap where 3 heroes are susceptible. And TA isn't a hero that rushes the BKB. She usually goes for the Deso into the Blink, and then you're looking at a BKB. But we get a Husker. All right. Well, we did mention that most of the cheese pick had been removed from the pool, but instead, like, they said, okay, Viper, yeah, there's some benefits there, KP, but how about just, I'm not gonna say a full free Huskar game, but it's not bad, right? Like, you're in this scenario where with the changes to the way blade mail works, Huskar doesn't get screwed over by dual blade mail. On the lane against the TA, you have the disarms to work around. Like, Templar Assassin is wholly reliant on that, so every time you trap, he can just debuff that by jumping on you, disarm you straight away. And I think the thing I like as well is that there's a lot of rotation potential, right? Like, you can jump on top of the TA, and because you have an Earth Spirit roaming around, and even a Puck that can actually get active around the lanes early, just look out from her lane into the mid, there's a lot of kill potential in this TA. I think there's going to be a big focus on Unique to keep one eye on the mid lane to make sure that if there is a rotation, they need to counter it instantly. Trian needs to throw out the armor. There needs to be a disruptor TPing in to save the life. Sometimes even a Legion commander. Like last game, we saw Baden make a clutch rotation to save his drow. We're going to see similar stuff around here. Because right now, the way I look at this game for Unique is the story of the TA. The TA has to have a good game. And for 178, it's exactly what you expect. It is that kind of Huskar game. He needs to pop off early, and he needs to set the tempo. And I think I'd say the big importance is actually going to be the first Roche. Like, Huskar lineups usually rely on that a lot, but you're talking about two teams that actually have a lot of minus armor potential, right? Because you're going to actually easily see the TA get the Deso. At that point, I'm wondering what maybe you go for like an armor on the Lifestealer and you're able to Roche already, especially with press the attack. And that's also what I like to see Lifestealer with. I like to see him coupled with minus armor. I talk about SF as a natural builder into that type of lineup a lot of the time, because then you go for like a Deso and a Lifestealer. In this type of game, maybe you see maybe a bit more greedy. I don't think we're going to see Radiance, but I think we're going to see something like the Armlet instead. You still don't have a natural bomb, is what I'm thinking. You can jump at the TA, and that could be a big surprise. But it's not like the guaranteed stun. I'm going to jump out. Oh, great, we stunned them. They're dead. We're just going to see some scouting out in the lanes by the looks of it. You are seeing 178 showing free heroes bot right now. They want to try and get a more favorable matchup on the lanes, right? So optimally, you're looking to get that Lifestealer in the Puck lane. Like Trappy wants to face off against that. It's easy for him to deal with. And then the Bloodseeker can handle the Legion and burn him down a little bit more easily, I want to say. They do have a lot of sustain. That's the beautiful thing about Unique's draft right now, is the Lifestealer, it should be a hard kill. The Legion should be a hard kill. And the living armor from the Treant, once he gets to level 2, should protect any sort of dive attempts. And that is important, because I can't highlight enough that 178, they are looking to milk attrition. Like, they're trying to burn their opponents down so that this Bloodseeker can just run over his lane. $178. We'll see what this. I'm really intrigued to see what the Huskar can do. Like I said, it does give them Roche taking potential. It's just you are up against a decent amount of physical damage. Like, the Lifestealer is going to take so much health back off you because, you know, you are a tanky strength hero. He's going to sustain himself that way. He has the rage to debuff your burning spears. This is a volatile lane. I feel like whoever gets the first kill here will be in control of this lane, and then possibly the game. And you can already see that Kodos is getting a lot of damage in on him. As Pikachu makes sure that first salve will have to be used by Kodos. Apparently, Kodos is pretty good on this TA. Last 3 games, all won. Not bad. Huskar mixed result, but that is the nature of Huskar heroes anyway. I love seeing Treant snipe out Couriers. You'd expect Earthspirit, if anyone was going to snipe out Courier, to be the one, but I think they may be playing a little bit too far forward. They have at least got rid of most of the trees here, so it's not easy for No Fear to play, and you can already see that he's just playing up in their face. Chappie, I think that's a missed opportunity, actually. If you lose your forward, Treant dies 100%. Maybe he's worried about the turnaround opportunity for Lifestealer, but it's a level 1 Lifestealer. He shouldn't kill you there. But playing defensively, right? This is a 1-1 game right now. Whoever wins this is going to be the one moving forward. The other's going to be eliminated. You don't want to risk it for a chocolate biscuit. You can just see the blood rights. They're being spammed out so you can secure the range creeps. This is a really big thing with Bloodseekers. Usually, you might go for like 2 points in blood right. Usually, it's like 1 to zone and silence, and then you max out your first. Especially if you're expecting your other lanes to feed you a lot of stacks at first because they're aggressive. That's definitely something this lane can be. Although also predictable onto No Fear. Just slowly getting rid of all these trees. That's one of the nice things about that roll through, is you can actually break a lot of trees in the progress. in the process, rather. And we've seen plenty of games where Treants get confused about what they're meant to do when they run out of places to hide. And look at those bets. Literally just full on even. 1.87 odds either way. Flip a coin. I know some people will have some differing opinions on who has the win in the draft. I think there's an argument that if this is a drawn laning phase and no one takes the definitive win, then Unique look ahead. Whereas 178, like, they are definitely taking these lane bully heroes. They need to come out swinging. They need to win at least one of these lanes decisively to actually have a bigger impact. That being said, can 178 really be killed off easily? I feel like the Huskar shouldn't die unless he makes a fatal error. The Disruptor is really the only one who should be able to enable kills for Unique. You usually think the Treant would be able to do it, but the way he's been stuck in this lane and the type of heroes he's up against, it's a very hard game for Treant to be the bully on the lane that we've seen so often. This is what I mean. Like, oh yeah, great tree grasp. You're just gonna like pull the creeps across, but you won't find an aggressive tree grasp here. It's also the big issue whenever you have a lifestealer. Like, they changed the hero a little bit, so it should feel like it can hit heroes a bit better, but it's a life fabricator. It's no longer a lifestealer. And until you get phase boots, you don't really feel like you can actually do any damage. And even then, you are up against a puck and an earth spirit that can always kite you. I mean, I wouldn't mind actually seeing Treant move towards top. All right, apologies for that, folks. It seems there was a slight connection error. We are back, hopefully. Praying. Looks like we are good. Apologies. I'm not sure what happened there. Just letting my folks on the other end know, so they know it's coming back up. Okay, I'm just checking that everything is working good. No, don't do this to me. Stream, we're good. This game, however, is very slow. Not a single death yet. 0-0 on the score. Teams not looking too bad on both sides right now. Definite slight lead for the side of Radiant. They'll push that into a kill as they find the first blood finally at the 5-minute mark, and it's Lich that goes down. 178. I credit where credit is due, actually. Look at the Huskar. Like, yes, you give over that first blood, but I'm curious about what this Huskar can do. He has 29 denies. This is a spooky boy. Question is, like, what item can you get that can really shut them down? Like, the Halberd is going to be godly here, right? Because actually, you look at the side of Unique, they are just fully in on the physical damage, really. So I do like the idea, like, if Huskar has a good start, he can flip an advantage for the other lanes. Like, Bloodseeker naturally feeds off that, and Puck is a hero that can do a lot with little. Especially straight off the laning phase. Meanwhile, Chappy has been left alone now. You've reached that level 5. This is where you really shouldn't struggle too much, so you can be left alone in the lane, which then frees up the Earth Spirit to rotate, which is what he naturally wants to do. This is a hero that is always been renowned as thriving on ganking.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, no, though, Kodos has supplemented his gold in the jungle pretty well. Like, in spite of the Huskar's best efforts, you've got decent gold. However, those creeps in the lane are worth a little bit more. When you switch over net worth, you'll definitely see that sort of impact. Like, this net worth lead for Unique is coming out of their outer lanes right now. You can already see that Puck is falling behind the lifesteal a little bit. Legion is asserting a little bit of dominance over the Bloodseeker. A lead that could build up more and more as this goes on, especially if he keeps getting the range denies. And happy Diarara. You might want to draw a Diarara. Or build one rather to explain what the hell just happened there. So that's odd positioning coming out from Lich. Instantly punished. It's just awkward because these two heroes are just so bulky. The Living Armor to keep so bad up in the trades with Lich every time. Like, Lich and Disruptor, these are the dominant bullies in the lanes that we've seen for so long. But the differing factor is one side has a Treant, the other doesn't have any sort of protective spell like that. Like, sure, the Frost Shield is nice, but by the time you're casting it, you're already down to half HP. And then it's just an unwinnable fight. Alright, so Pikachu, yep, he's going into the armlet. Once he has that, I feel like he needs to rotate. I think a big part about mids right now, if you actually want to have the biggest success with this lane, is you need to have an ability to rotate. It needs to feel fluid. You need to make a move out. It used to be so simple at the 10-minute marks because the outpost justified a rotation to the outer lanes. Now you're looking for a scenario where the outer lanes overextend. There's two heroes too far forward. And Diarara, I think overextension is the name of the game. You see this tower right here? Come beyond it, and that's overextension. That is the third time now. It's worrying because that's the dual win as well. And if they just realize how easy this is and you don't see an adjustment coming out from this Lich, they're just going to milk him for all his worth. It's just going to be easy duels. And remember what we said, right? Legion is a type of hero. You can mean she'll take a mile. Like, he can turn a lane advantage into a mid-game advantage just by getting 3 early duels. And 3 in both forms at this rate if you keep giving yourself over like this as the Lich. But you can already see the plateau starting to build, right? Like, you've got this Huskar up on the high ground, above everyone else, looking down on the mere peasants of the world, laughing at them going, I am the power. But how do you convert that power right now? Like, the armlet is going to be good, but the halberd won't be there for a long time, so the TA still has an opportunity to make plays, to have an impact. Lifestealer is going to be going into that Maelstrom. That did get some nerfs, slight nerfs. I believe it's 10 damage less on each proc. They tried to buff the Battle Fury, but it's such a little difference that Maelstrom's just still so good. Like, the item cost difference is ridiculous. And now, oh god. The damage difference in this lane is getting out of control. That's the second dual win. I don't think he should have Happy in his name anymore. I think Pepega Diarara is more appropriate. Rupture. We'll just go for the TP away, but the smash doesn't do anything. Obviously, that doesn't stun anymore, and he'd already used the roll through, so nicely identified by the Legion to just get out quickly. Bloodseeker's a good hero when you have stun lockdown. Otherwise, it's just TP lol. And sadly, because Lich is always the first casualty, you lose a lot of your control. Dream Call. No Fear will go down, as Chappie will chase onto him. Did he just... Oh, no, he just baited himself. Chappie, he's used all his mobility as well. Kodos might just kill him. 1, 2... Up to the high ground to try and escape, but no way out. They ping the ward, but sure, you know that info. You've already fed the TA, and the glimpse back on a Pikachu. Static Storm goes down, forced to fight. The duel does come out as well. Bignum trying to assist, but Pikachu is just dead, and Pedushara is out of control. Third duel victory at the 10-minute mark. Oh, this has fallen apart from 178. I mean, I said the one thing that was going good was Huskar. We questioned how he could turn it into anything, and the only thing he managed to turn it into is more duel victories for Legion. It's getting concerning. The lead is building. We're up to 3k net worth lead now. Not a single kill on the board for 178. And look at their heroes. This is a kill-oriented lineup. If they are not murdering heroes, they are doing something wrong. Huskar wants to kill. The Earth Spirit is all about these gank rotations. Puck can shove, but has so much damage early on, wants to try and find those cheesy kills and force mistakes on the lane. And do I need to explain Bloodseeker? It's literally in the name. If he's not seeking blood... You know, if this guy was meant to farm all game long, we call him Farm Seeker. We call him Gold Seeker, okay? Creep Seeker. He's meant to be the one making his opponents bleed, but instead, it's the other way around. And now, with all these stacks, Kodos is just accelerating that farm. All of a sudden, Huskar loses his lead at this top of this chart. And TA's Deso time at this rate is going to be right on point. At that point, what do you really have? That's like a serious question. Everyone feel free to chime in because you'd think you'd be okay, right? You got all this dot damage, you can get rid of all these refraction charges, but you're in a situation where we mentioned the protection, right? Press the attack, living armor. They've got all these ultimates they can stack to protect. It's very cut and dry for Unique as the game goes on. Just let TA protect TA with everything. Lifestealer can handle himself. Rupture in the top lane. On a Pedushara roll in, but the Static Storm does get dropped just in time. And Pedushara says, what? Who's ganking who? They almost lose multiple heroes, and they will. Pedushara gets the double kill. If he gets some procs, it might be a triple. But there it is. Chappie to save the day. However, that is a 4th duel win. That was your move to make. That was meant to be your checkmate play. But you don't even kill a Disruptor quick enough. He gets an impact. It is a big gold swing. But every time you see this, it's the fact that, yes, you got a bunch of gold out of that. Very big kill. Legion had to be shut down. But you still go with the duel win. You still give over 2 kills. And also, you rotate that many heroes. What's happening elsewhere? Well, Unique, they've got Kodos farming up, and the Lifestealer is joining him in that game. It's always that factor, right? Like, you know, it's one hero farming. We require it to be someone like an Alchemist or a Meepo. It's like, well, the Alch's still farming. This is two cores that sometimes are seen as a bit more greedy that are getting away with all this space because the Legion Commander is doing exactly what you expect out of it, right? If Legion flops in the next 10 minutes, all you end up doing is falling back to your original role, which is, lol, I'll be a support, I'll press the attack, I'll buff you up. But with his drums so quickly, then he'll go into the pipe next. He knows he's naturally going to have to pivot in that role anyway. He's already got his snowball item. Now it's just, I guess I'll just itemize for the mid game when you guys shut me down. It's kind of the timber factor, right? Like, you're literally, you're drawing way too much attention, and that's good for your team because it makes space. That is not good, however. So bad. You know, someone was going to live up to the name. It was him in this situation. It's just a little bit too far forward. Not really much reason to be there either. I think he was just trying to get some vision down, some D-walls, make sure that they can actually play forward on Petishara without any risk to him. Does backfire, though. Kodos did, by the way, go for the Blink Dagger first. That's something we didn't highlight yet. But given the timings and given the fact he's left alone, and there's not really a great opportunity to shove in on the mid, I'm kind of okay with this. Like, you're just using this Blink as a means to get around and farm quicker, really. You'll get that Deso anyway. There isn't a need for you to make early plays because Legion was so ridiculous up to this point, right? Because Petishara popped off like this, he's already up to 40 damage from duels. You don't feel as pressure to bring additional to the fight, so you might as well take the Blink that gives you an escape. Maybe it gives you a form to pick off the backline if a weird fight occurs, or it just allows you to farm quicker. And why do we have a random person in lobby typing GG? Not again. Well, as long as he doesn't start writing love poems, in fairness, you know, always want to fly isn't in this one, so it might be harder. I've had that experience before. No comment beyond that. But Huskar has retained that top spot. He got it back after a while. It's once again, like, what do you do as this Husk? It feels like you have to do a lot. There's some kind of, like, cheeky little plays, right, with, like, the snap core potential because of Inner Fire. Rupture as well works well with Inner Fire. So there is some synergy for 178. But right now, like, for Unique, you just split the map, you farm, and then you shove them in hard. Like, you can just keep forcing weird TP rotation from 178 because of the point you're at in this game. Like, you've got Legion hitting for over 160 damage, for God's sake. You've got a TA that is going to hit for a lot more than that because the Deso is very close now. And your Puck doesn't really have much to work with. And you need it. I've said this before, like, the Veil is now there. You need to make plays around him. You do have 6 on Bignum, up to 7 in fact, so you have got the massive damage output from the Magnetize. Oh, then the roll in? I mean, this is desperate. That Dream Core was off the mark! That's, you know what that is right there? That's just a subtle part of the read that they're feeling right there. This hero is so frustrating. It's bad enough that he gets it for free, this skill to walk through towers. It's 10 times more annoying to find him. It's what makes him so good right now. Petishar, Overgrowth, off the mark, no fear. They'll get the duel back in the end as they glimpse him in and kill him off. Chappie has no escape. And another duel win. 50 damage on the board. And Petishar very close to that level 2 ultimate. At which point, this damage is going to hit double digits before you even realize it. I think my big chief concern when I looked at Unique's draft at first was, okay, so you got this TA. Who's going to be there on the front line, right? Because Lifestealer will eventually, but there's like this weird window around the 20-25 minute mark where he kind of doesn't hit that hard. He needs to be enabled somewhat. But when you're just funneling so much damage down this Legion's neck, when you're just, like, you know, just got the funnel, and you're just shoveling in the bird feed as we go. I mean, bird feed is irrelevant unless you're talking about a pigeon. But you put this much damage into a Legion this early, it's just that classic pub stomp snowball mentality, right? And it will get worse and worse as this goes on. Like, this is you're reaching past the point where it slows down, especially when you look at 178's heroes. Halbert's going to be the big dream, the play, but how do you stop these duels from occurring? That's the reality, right? Like, at this rate, a Legion's probably going to be thinking, could I be able to BKB? I could probably get away with BKB this game, because then they won't stop me dueling anyone. It'll be fun time central for the rest of the game. Let's not be ridiculous here. Like, 178, they do have late game potential, right? Like, we saw the impact of a late game Huskar with the pure damage spears. That can be brutal, especially against some of these more squishy heroes like the TA. But also, from the Bloodseeker perspective, the reason this hero started to come back in is he's fast off the lanes, but he has these weird kind of power spikes where as he goes hyper late game and everyone's getting, fully equipped out, he packs a punch. He's actually ruthless. And we are going to have a pause here. 178 with the DC. Different teams this time, guys. Okay, there's no conspiracy here. It's just a casual disconnect followed by someone back in. We haven't lost a member. Lifestealer, by the way, is going for the halberd. I like this. This is actually really good from him. So he went for the Maelstrom, which is kind of his greed factor, but he's like, okay, I would like to address the Huskar soon. My TA has farmed phenomenally well, and I wanted to be able to back that up. This is not about the Lifestealer, right? At this point in the game, it's like, what can I do to enable the TA and possibly the Legion as well? And the Disarm just completely screws the Huskar at this point, because Pikachu preferably wants to get Satanics, Halberds. He doesn't want to necessarily target the BKB. He's going to need it eventually due to the Disruptor, but he probably feels like he can get the Halberd himself first. This will catch him off guard. This is the advantage in that matchup, is that Lifestealer, yeah, they could both build like these armlets or these Maelstroms, whatever. Well, not Huskar, but, for the Lifestealer, he could build either of those two items. But then the next item you're looking at, because Lifestealer has this natural magic community, he doesn't have to worry about that. He can just go into some sort of utility. And then as the game goes on, you get that hyper late game scenario, you flip the advantage the TA gives, suddenly Lifestealer becomes the true carry again. But for a while, I expect to see the situation where Lifestealer just bombs with the TA, open wounds the target. If Huskar shows up, how you doing, bro? Let me just press one button on you. Okay, you sit there and wait your turn because you can't attack anyone. And then we get spooky games. And it looks like Penishara is going towards that Blade Mail. I'm a little bit surprised. I wondered if he'd do this because Blade Mail did get a significant nerf, but you are still looking at one of the two best heroes of a Blade Mail in the game, which is Axe and Legion Commander. Kodos. Already got that Blink, already got that Desert. Towards the BKB next. What you're now looking for, if you're on the side of Unique, is you want to take a fight that enables you to go into the pit. In fact, they might just do it sooner, because 178 don't have the strongest pit fight. They needed like a godly Dream Call, followed by very favorable bounces from Gaben from that Chain Frost. And they're looking in the wrong place. TA is already in the pit. They're going to rotate bot. Even if you get this kill on a measly, crappy little tree, it's going to count for nothing. And they know he's around here. They can maybe get a tier 1 tower. And that's the other thing. Because you're at the 20-minute mark before you take that tier 1 bot, like, the attention is forced. It's very obvious. And they're going to be too late. They're coming now. Puck can go for the Dream Call, but even if you do it, maybe go for the Snatch on the Aegis. Can he get it in time? Nope. It's gone. They did get the kill, though. Static Storm's going to go down. The turnaround is there onto Bignum. They're trying to burn through him, and quickly they will do it. Chain Frost to bounce around. Pikachu pushing so bad away as they'll chase him down. But now look at this. Penishari's like, no, don't kill him too quick. I need that dual win. Buyback comes out in the meantime from the Earth Spirit, and on the side, the Overgrowth is there. Chappie is stuck. The Disarm comes out to Pikachu, trying to jump deeper to fight up against them. The Disarm is huge, catching on the 4 heroes, pushing them away. Look at the turnaround with the double buyback. 178 might be able to achieve something. His aggressive charge is a little bit too aggressive and gets put to bed early like he should. TA, Aegis already gone. Blood Riot is down. Here, chicken, where you going? Kodos can't escape from this at all. They move across. Triple kill for Pikachu, not respecting the power of Huskar. Instead of just trying to get the Aegis and bug out, they hang around a little bit too long. Props from the Chappie Puck to get across quick enough that he snatches the kill. Maybe not the Aegis, but he does at least get that kill. And very quickly, the team identifies, okay, it's going to take a few lives, but there's no reason we can run away. And Penishara, he will go for the duel finally. He didn't use it last time. The Disarms are coming out. Bignum, it will go down. Penishara will join him in the grave. You still get a dual win, but now you're just feeding the Huskar. Do not feed the Huskar. This is an important factor. I learned this very early on in my Dota days playing against the 2K plebs before I moved up and ascended in the realm of 3K. But you can't feed Huskars.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And this is also the volatility, by the way. Like, this is the Huskar hitting his prime. Yes, he didn't get the Aegis, but he instantly makes sure that you get no value out of that Aegis. And I can't highlight enough. It's crucial that you do this. Like, Huskar, I mentioned he can come back late game, right? But you don't want to be walking into this 25-minute mark crippled. You're a hero that accelerates itself to ridiculous heights off the first and second Aegis. And now that he has the armor, the halberd, and have the BKB by the time the next Aegis is up, they are a huge power spike that they can just try and pivot off. Unique, however, because they went for this Lifestealer halberd, because it didn't pay off, that is the crippling factor. Like, you build this item because you're like, we can confidently take any fight. They can't push into us at all. Now you're like, okay, I just need to farm, guys. I actually need to get a real item, do some serious damage, because you can see the issue there, right? Even with the disarm out, Huskar buys himself enough time with the disarm of his own that you just can't burst through him anymore. And for Unique, it's in some ways a little bit simpler, and what the most important thing is. Like I mentioned, the lifestealer, he needs to come online. If you can get the BKB on Kodos, you still have the burst damage to kill off this Huskar at the moment. Until he gets his hands on a Satanic, it's not God tier. And of course, remember that disarm goes through the BKB if you use it first, so you can have an impact. However, dying like this is what I call slightly problematic. Static Storm goes down, Palantimos stands his ground, but then it gets glimpsed away, and Kodos in a world of trouble will die. Despite the best efforts of his support, not able to assist, and Sobad being chased onto next. Roll forward. Cue credits. As Sobad is dead in Unia's sequel. It'll take a while, but they will be able to get on top. And the Sinister Gaze does come out. The Disruptor does go down, as there's a double kill for the Lich. Alright. If there's one thing a Lifestealer can do, it's hit a tower twice and then TP away. Very good hero. Would be nice if you had a Deso, but you're not going to build one is the issue, right? Like, there's one of the scenarios where split pushing as a Lifestealer feels odd. Because you haven't gone for this armlet Deso build where, you can, hit heroes, but then also, if something goes wrong, hit towers. Your Maelstrom Halberd. You can shove those lanes in, thumbs up, but the moment you reach the tower, you're like, Alright, guys. I forced a TP. Just gonna rage TP away. It's kind of been one of my big issues with life steals at the moment. Like when you draft it like this, I don't like the Radiance build, and I don't like it when he can't go for the high physical damage where you're like, armlet Deso. As I said before, I respect what he was trying to do. Like, instead of giving his team a backup plan, he was doubling down on their ability to take fights early. But that one awkward fight sets you back so much that Huskar is accelerating the top of the board, and then you look just behind that TA, that Bloodseeker and that Puck that had pretty bad lanes. Rough starts to the game are already matching that net worth.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And I actually can't emphasize this enough to you guys. Remember what I mentioned? Huskar scales back. Like, it comes back. It dials around. Like, once you get the pure damage from the spears, everyone on the side of Unique is running around screaming like the house is on fire, right? When in reality, you're beyond the house, right? It's like someone just poured petrol on you. There's no way to protect you at that point. And it looks like 178 are dangling around the bot lane. They're going to force some TP rotation. They think this is just a Puck split pushing. Blink away. If they chase this is bad. They're waiting on the high ground. Chaffee will just move away instead. They use the Static Storm as well. The Overgrowth does come out. The Glimpse back as well. The Dream Core to keep No Fear away. But the duel will be out. It took 5 heroes, let's be honest here, to kill off the Fairy Dragon. But a decent pick-off. Dead for 65 seconds. 178. For a moment there, it looked like they might try and take that fight. Just full-on falls into it. But without Huskar there to front line, like, you can't afford to be the ones picked off. Like, this is the importance of proactivity, right? Like, you look at both lineups, it's all about who kind of jumps first. Like, you got the Static Storm to catch someone out. Yeah, you can reset with Overgrowth. It's nice. But for 178 especially, like, you have this Puck. Puck wants to be actively jumping heroes and setting someone up. Like, forcing a bad fight for the enemy team by dream calling certain heroes in. Rupture at the start of the fight to invalidate a target. Huskar just jumping deep. If you're forced to react, some of their heroes don't handle that too well. The Puck is prime amongst them. Like, if you get caught by one stun, you're just dead. Static Storm naturally is a very good counter to you. And also, if you get caught out on the Lich, I think the Lich, as this game goes on, is going to be more important because we mentioned the physical damage aspect of Unique's draft being so high. That Frost Shield is going to be crucial. You need to be playing around this Huskar 24/7 once you have your hands on an Aegis. And that's really what 178 are waiting for. Their window is next Roshan. And if I'm seeing this right, yeah, AC into the MKB. So Lifestealer will be able to get that damage eventually. It's a decent pick against the Lifestealers, the Huskars game goes on. However, life being stolen away from Chappie, many questions. I'm pretty sure there should have been lingering vision on Aggressive Child. I don't know if Chappie was looking. I'd have to see that back in a replay because it was like quite close because the creeps had just died. I'm trying to remember how, like, based on how long the lingering vision is. It's hard for us to see because we have vision on both sides, but a questionable moment from Chappie instantly gets punished, and another duel win going the way of the Legion Commander. I mean, I thought I was hungry to go eat real food when this game ends. It looks like Chappie's just a little bit too hungry to split push. I would love to see Train like getting a little bit extra gold. This hero feels a bit frustrating to just find passive gold with anymore, right? Like this, the fact that while a Meteor Hammer is nice, initially getting that gold without snowballing a few kills feels rough because Nature's Grasp isn't great at pushing out lanes. Your biggest advantage is that you're pesky to kill because you stay in the trees. The moment you come out, you're just an easy pick. So it's really just a big gold influx on the Disruptor, which isn't bad by any length, right? Like getting your hands on an Axe quickly is god tier, especially in this type of game, right? Like if you can actually just catch out that Huskar with the Static Storm, there's no sort of build that he can choose that doesn't screw him at that point. It's actually a big part of why like the Disruptor is so strong is with this extra gold influx towards supports now, Static Storm Ags is more feasible. And of course, they recently nerfed it because they originally gave an additional duration of 2 seconds, which was absurd. But now you're in this scenario where the reason Disruptor came in is, yeah, you got some buffs. Yeah, the kind of focus on what you want in the lanes changed. But we were in a meta for a while where status resistance was king, right? BKBs were like, sure, there's a game where it's good. But usually, if you can get away with having your Satanic type build up, it's 10 times better. Against the Disruptor, because he slaps down that ultimate, because it stops you from even using the BKB, stats resistance doesn't help either. You're kind of just dead in the water at that point. And you can already see, yeah, Satanic. I was wondering if he was going to do it straight after. Like, once you got the BKB, this is just the issue you have with Huskar. You need to make sure you pre-BKB, because eventually it'll be the Ags. Like, you get that scenario in the team fights against the Disruptor, there'll be that Axis Static Storm. But at the same time, like, what else do you really build? You could build an AC, but who's really benefiting from that? Because you've got a Bloodseeker, right? Like, this hero, since the changes, AC is like, I've got all the attack speed I need. If you can give me physical, like, raw damage in some way, great. Otherwise, it's a shrug of the shoulders. And MKB also being queued up on the TA. Just everything to kill this Huskar. I think it's the fair choice as well. Like, Huskar is the definitive factor, especially as he approaches that 25. He's the lethal threat to your lineup in the next 5-10 minutes. Yes, Bloodseeker can eventually become a big problem, but right now, he's only starting to reach his power spike. Once he has the Abyssal complete, then you start to crap the bed and worry about Plantimos' damage output in these fights. And this Roche shoots so fast. Good God. With the DD, takes no time at all, and Unique might feel a little bit robbed by that. Glimpse to get one away, but no fear's in trouble. Snaps that coil, and with that fail there, he takes almost half his health as a result. There'll be a chase through. Oh, the roll! Catches into Petishar trying to TP away. He's like, crap, what do I do? I have all this damage, nothing to do with it. They're already chasing on the back line. They'll find the kill and it's so bad. And Petishara, it's just a matter of buying time. How long can I survive before I inevitably die? Quite a lot of time, actually. If this was stock buying, like, on the shorts, you make a good investment, but inevitably you just hang around too long and you just lose out. Not that you had a choice after that TP cancel, beautifully done by Bignum. So, MKBs. Like, this literally, I could just imagine Unique chanting it right now. It's like, MKBs, MKBs, we need the MK. We can't fight the Huskar until we have it. Has an Aegis now, okay, dude. I don't want to be anywhere near. They're going to be scarred by this experience, the Huskar, is what we're highlighting here. Like, at least your TA is close to having it, but remember what I said. Once the Bloodseeker has the Abyssal, it's not the Pikachu show anymore. And by the time you have the MKB, the Bloodseeker is going to be incredibly close. This is what we call spoopy, if you don't know how to say words properly. And the living arm, it's trivial at this point. That nerf to Treant definitely hurt his ability to stop these pushes or slow them down at least. And they'll be TPs away because they've maybe found a kill here. And the Lifestealer, that's not how you escape. And that's not what we're meant to be looking at, Mr. Observer. Who can't hear me because he hasn't got a link in. Lifestealer, he has a link to the afterlife now. He's 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 talking to his dead relatives, his dead ancestors right now. He's got a lord from the 15th century saying, "Why are you dying? All right, our family has fallen so far. It's bad enough that you are a crippled, diseased, weird-looking creature, but to fail our legacy of famous rage TPing away. Instead, the only raging the Lifestealer gets to do for another 50 seconds is possibly at the game, maybe a teammate here or there, but he's only got himself to blame. It should have been a simple cut and dry TP away. But he hangs around too long, gets punished for it. And you're running out of towers. This is kind of like one of those awkward scenarios where like this big nation is bullying a small one and they keep appeasing them. They're just giving them stuff. Because right now, they're like, 178, will you please leave if we give you a tower? And they've had enough. They're like, no, you know what? We already drained your economy dry, and now we want to drain the base. Living Armor to slow it down a bit, but Pikachu with that Aegis, with that Satanic, BKB, like, what the hell do you do to him? There was a point where I say you do something, and that was a point where you're matching his farm. He's 4k ahead of the tier at the top of the net worth chart. Your Legion fell off really hard. Your Lifestealer, because he wanted to back the Legion, because he bought stocks in Legion, he is now selling off his house just to make ends meet. As they just don't really have the damage to deal with him. And that's one lane gone. And spoiler alert, Aegis still has a little bit of time to work with. J178 could just look towards the mid lane as well. Glimpse back on a Pikachu. I like the way he just stops moving. He's like, okay, I'm going to let go of the keyboard. You guys can... you can jump on me. We'll see what happens. I dare you. I double dick dare you. Because if you do, I ain't the one who's going to go down first. He's just like, I'll wait for the creep wave. I don't want to move too much. All right. I don't want to give Disruptor a false sense of hope. A TA, like the nullifier idea. I love it, bro. It's the big play, right? Random applause. That's your turnaround opportunity. But it's a 4.3k HP Huskar, and you are nowhere near that item. Instead, Huskar almost has an AC, and it's going to be a second lane fall in this rate. It's so cut and dry. They don't even need to stick Palantimos up on the high ground. If he goes up, he's a risk factor. He could die. Pikachu, with the Blood Rage, this damage is ludicrous. And they finally realized, no, I've had enough. We've got to stop this right now. The Rupture goes out. Highs in the creep. Bye. It counters your Bloodseeker because I'm running away at my own base. This will totally not backfire. Wait, no. Pikachu, you were meant to be countered by this move. Please, stop hitting the build. I'm seeing Huskar problems here, folks. Cute disarm. Let me just continue what I was doing. Knock, knock. Is anyone there? Did Unique turn up for game 3? Nope. We picked a Huskar? Very simple. A little bit of cheeky lifesteal with the Blood Rage as well. It's just... Has he even cast the Satanic yet? I don't think he's even needed it. And this is just stupid because it's not going to slow down. You need to kill him sometime now. You need that Aegis to expire and instantly get a kill because he's close to 25. And when he gets 25, it's going to be even harder to deal with. Aegis, gone. This is the moment. If you can't make a play now, 178, back to the jungle, farm up, next Roche, we win the game. You need to actually get out and make a play. But you see it, 178 are just so clustered together right now. There's no easy breach. And with that Axe on the puck, there's no easy solution. I think it's fair to say, like, for Unique, I think it really comes back to that Halberd choice on the Lifestealer. Like I said, I respect that he was going in for the play to win type notion, right? Like, I'm going to back up my teammate. But you removed your backup plan. Your Lifestealer is nowhere near a point where he can take over or he can join the TA. It just felt like they were pivoting into an interesting idea, which is Legion Commander will carry the game. He's got too many dual wins. Haha, this Lich keeps getting caught out of position. We can just flip this, build stupid amounts of damage, and take over the game. It's cute, but that's like Dota we saw regularly a few years ago, right? We see teams, sometimes you'd argue, play too defensive, right? Give themselves too much of a backup plan instead of playing to win. But it's nice to have that backup plan. It's why we still see things like a PL come out, or we used to see the Voids, right? It's like, these heroes can be present early. They can do a lot. But if we get our backs up against the wall and we slow down for 20 minutes, we know they'll bounce back. With this type of build-up, there just wasn't that amplification. And as a result, 178, slow and chill. However, Unique, they may have found an advantage here. Okay, it's very simple. Huskar needs to stay disconnected. All right, I'm out of plans. And I am seeing a lot of Pigas in the chat. A little bit about the change. It's amazing, isn't it, guys? How someone can support both sides because we are unbiased and we see the ways that both teams can win the game. Also, it's very easy for me to just decide who's winning this game by net worth because, you know, when we break it down simply, we are a capitalist society. All in all, like, both teams had ways of winning this game, though. It's what I like to see in the final game. It's like, it's not a full cheese Huskar pick. Can it be very formidable? Yes. Was this a cut and dry lane phase then win for 178? No. Like, actually, if you look at the heroes that they picked, for their outer lanes to have not been dominant is worrying. And credit has to be given where it's due to TA, like, to have kept up that farm. Inevitably, though, it was just a Pikachu Huskar that's accelerated to a ridiculous degree, and the amount of XP denial on that mid lane was just absurd. And now the onus fully on Unique. If they don't make a play, this is just you waiting to die, okay? This is, you know, you're there with the doctor. You just got the diagnosis. It's death by road sign. Because I think that's what 178's was actually original. I'm pretty sure that was a road sign from somewhere. Probably like an American highway or something. And now they're waiting for this death, this inevitable death, if they sit in their base. Or you can get out. You can make the best of life. You can make a play. Because Roche, it could spawn in just 2 minutes. And if it is a quick spawn, you need to be positioned right. You're already going to have a hard time because if you look, there's deep wars coming out from 178. So they can spot any sort of rotation early on. And it's going to be obvious because they've got these deep wars. It's going to be very obvious if you smoked up. Because no one's going to be farming these different sectors. It's already like, I smell something funny here. It smells like a smoke gank to me. And while you do have a lot of abilities for the pit on the side of Unique, if 178 sees you coming and they set up correctly, you've got heroes to intercept the back line. Like, if you get caught towards where your shrine used to be on the Radiant side, you're screwed. Good little snipe out on Chappie's next item, at least. But to go back to that screw point, right? Like, you're talking about a Puck, an Earth Spirit. If you split up the fight too much, Unique crumble. They need this beautiful kind of like combo on top. They need to be completely in sync. And right now, the only thing like similar to NSYNC is the death of the boy band. It looks like Petishara might go down. Overgrowth to come out. Buyback straight away from Legion. He's already dead. Aggressive charge of the rage to try and fight up against Pikachu. But he doesn't give a shit. He's got the BKB. There's nothing in this world that phases him. BKB will end. Chappie just trying to aggress him a little bit, be frustrating. He was on the Huskar stack. Storm goes down, and the jump in, the duel, everything thrown at the Huskar. They're trying to get rid of him quick enough. They might lose Petishara the second time. No, the Satanic comes out. Pikachu is unstoppable. He is a monster, and he is gonna run you all over. Eric, wake up into your own nightmares. You thought it was a dream, but it's actually reality. You are being destroyed one by one. And the Bloodseeker finally able to start being relevant. It's not just about the Huskar anymore. And I think the Observer is drunk, or he's just a big fanboy of the side of 178. As he hoped, or Unique rather, as he hoped that they could come back. But instead, 178 runs them through and ensures that they take the victory in this 2-1. And what a game. I honestly stand by what I said. Like, there was opportunities on both sides. You have to actually look at that. If you're looking at the post laning phase scenario, and this is the beauty of Dota, right? Like, I don't feel like we often see a win just at the start of the game. Is like, you looked at Team Unique and you were thinking, okay, TA can be good. Legion, you expected to fall back to the support role. It tried to be this kind of right-click carry on the front line alongside its other two cores. It wanted to be a brother in arms, but it started to fall off. And once you made that choice by the lifesteal to go with the halberd, you had no supplement of damage coming elsewhere. You just had a ridiculous amount of gold fed into this Huskar, who was starting to fall behind at one point, and you just start to accelerate Chappie again. The Veil, by the way, I can't underestimate this item. It's so good. I love to see this item. Any hero that can get away with building this, there's so many lineups that use it very well, especially since the spell damage change. Even if you're a pure damage-based hero, even once you reach Huskar level 25, Veil still works very well with him. You have an Earth Spirit, and by the way, that's one thing I want to really highlight here. I feel like we never see Earth Spirit win these days. I'm actually really glad we saw it. I don't feel like much of it was due to him necessarily in the early game, but he's definitely had some impact later. And when they came in with that impact, it was like that squashed Roshan right there. He's not under the carp, okay? That is, I know how 3D modeling works. It's flat on both sides. He's dead right now. And so is the hope of Team Unique in this tournament. They are out. They are done ski. They are gone. They are goodbye ski. And that does mean that we have another team eliminated. So rip to them. Next game will start tomorrow at 13 CET, as usual, between J178 and Ursus Gaming. Should be an exciting one, as both these teams, they didn't have the easiest time. It was 2-1 series. And then after that, we'll have the upper bracket final between the side of Fours and Hellraisers at around 16 CET. Been a pleasure, folks. We're done here. I'm sure there's plenty of people reeing in the chat about the outcome of the game, about how it's all rigged, or possibly about how, you didn't like me backpedaling. Well, guess what? I am Kyle. Wait, no, I'm not Kyle. He's much better than me. All right, I am play-by-play Kyle. Oh, God, that sounds horrifying. I'm just going to leave right now. Bye.